YouTube? Back here with another video about my Pelsee P12 Pro Max and the power management update. As I mentioned in my previous video, I'm using USB power, not what it came with. So there you go. So now I opened it up, and it should have come on here. Just there it goes. Except I'm still using USB power, but I don't have it plugged into the USB of the car. I'll show you, I did do that before, and it was working fine. But sometimes it would turn on and then turn off, and I don't know if it's because that's the Pelsee doing that, or if it's the power, the USB, just not giving power. I just wasn't sure, so I decided to use the outlet, and I'll show you what I did with that. So as you can see, it turns on right away and it'll turn off. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but it's off once I close the door. And I'll show you how that works. It actually is working out pretty well. Now I just came to the car. It's turning on right away here, which is nice. There we go. Okay. So how did I do this? As I showed you guys previously, I was using the USB power that came with this, and I'll show you down here. I was using that USB right there, and what I did is I was using this USB. Where's it at here? I was using this extender here. Hang on a sec, guys. I was using this extender here, so I can plug in multiple things and utilize that one USB port there, and use a few multiple things such as my ElecFresh power management system. But I don't really need this too much. I just need this to I have this setup here where I did wire my Joa all the way down, all the way here, and kind of coming up back here. And when I want it to have charge, I just kind of plug this in here, and then my Joa has charge, and all the wires are not showing, which is nice. But because I told you that sometimes this would just turn off for some reason. I don't know if it's too hot, or if just the power management of the Tesla and then the USB just doesn't give it, or whether that this part here, this thing here is extender, or whatever you might want to call it, which was just not giving power. I'm not sure. I had it. I'm just not sure as to what's causing it. And I even at one point had it plugged into this thing here, using an adapter for this to USB. It still would do the same. So what I did, as you can kind of see there, is I utilized the outlet. And I bought this thing on Amazon, which I'll show you is on sale, and I just saw on there on my blog and on sale. So I decided, hey, this might work fine. So I plugged this into the outlet down here, as you can see, the Cybertruck outlet. And then this way, now I'm able to use my studio power station here with the retractable cords, and I still have an outlet here to use if I wanted to. But I also have more spots here to use for the outlet, and more importantly, there's USB-C and regular USB ports here where I plugged in the USB that goes to the Pelsee. So with this is enough power to supply the Pelsee and keep it on, and just as important, it stays on. It hasn't been shutting off, and it shuts off when I leave the car immediately, and it comes on when I enter the car. So again, I'm saying this because I wanted to use a 12-inch display, and there are other displays out there that are very good, from Test Studio, from Hand Show, and some other manufacturers that are nice. They're a bit smaller though, and they require you to use power management from here, or you have to kind of take apart those parts of the car, of the side panel, and use the Cybertruck's own power management. So with that, I didn't want to really go through all that. I didn't want to put cords in here. And again, it's a fine option. I don't knock it in any way. And it's a cleaner option. I mean, this Test Studio and hand show options are cleaner than mine, because mine, I have to use this, cord that goes up here. And the question is, would I have to use that anyway with those models? Because I just, you just could not put it in here. I mean, you can put it in here, you could close this, but it wasn't a tight connection, and just by pulling this down, this would still come off. So as you can see in one of the other videos by Charisma, he actually had to put a little hole in here. And so, it's running cords is just, the Cybertruck was not designed to do all that. So we're kind of making do with what we have. So even though this is not as clean as the hand show or Test Studio models, I still think it's not that bad. And you get a 12-inch display, and the wiring is going to be a lot easier. And you don't have to worry about warranty issues when you go to Tesla. I was told by a Tesla representative that if he sees Model 3s and other cars that have the extra screens here, he usually tells them to take it down before coming in for service, just in case in case they blame it on that. And it's kind of a pain to go through and take off to take down the wiring and the power supplies to do all that. This is very clean. If I don't want to use this, I just simply unplug these. I unplug it from here, and this is just a USB connection, and this is for the camera. I just undo those, and then I can just, put this away, or, and it's not a big deal. So and that's really it. I obviously have the wires running to the back, but this is pretty easy. And with the power management here, what's important that needs to be done is that because we're plugged into the outlet, we have to go to the main menu, go to outlets and more, and you got to make sure that this is on here, this outlet. But also we got to make sure this outlet is on, but also pressing this button here and it says enable cabin outlet on entry. And what this does is that when you leave your car, it turns off, the outlets are off, and it doesn't really keep draining the battery anymore. But on entry, it does turn on. And this way I'm able to utilize this, and it does stay on, which is really convenient. It's really a great option that the Cybertruck, it looks like, and the engineers at Tesla, they probably knew that we would be using these outlets for things, and they come up with nice ways to allow you to keep them on. There's even an option here if you want to use the USB power. You can. It says keep accessory power on. So this is nice. This is how how I'm doing my setup now, and still being able to to have a tray like this, which is nice. And so yeah, this setup is working great for me now. And that's just a little quick update on the power management for the Pelsee P12, or really any type of aftermarket large display like the Pelsee or the Wolf Box or anything else. If you decide you want to just keep it easy and just do power management with just a USB cord and just run the wires, which is pretty easy. This is a great solution, and the outlets really provides you a nice way to do so. All right, YouTube, thank you again. Thanks for watching.